Hello, it's me. I'm Miss M Vintage. Welcome to my channel where I talk about vintage knitting, vintage sewing, vintage stuff. But honestly, at the moment, it's just knitting and crochet. I haven't sewn a single thing so far this entire year, and I'm looking over that way because that's where my sewing machine is, sitting forlorn and by itself. But we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about my stash down goals and how well did I do in July. I don't know where you are in your life when you're watching this video, but tonight it is cold. It is storming outside. It's freezing cold. I have a blanket and a hot water bottle and a hand knit jumper. It is the Tessellate jumper or sweater by Andy Satt, or Untangling Knots, and it's in a Bendigo Woolen Mills 10 ply, 12 ply, something like that. And this is a scarf that my dad bought me when he was in Mongolia years ago. Anyway, I'm super cold, and you can probably hear the rain from outside because it's crazy out there. Now, I always knew that July was going to be a tough month because I went to the Australian Sheep and Wool Show and I knew that I was going to buy yarn. I sort of had allocated that in my mind. I'd emotionally already made those purchases. The whole goal of this stash down is to just knit out more grams than I purchase in. But during winter, it seems like I just want to surround myself with purchased and delicious squishy yarns. Gimme, 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 gimme. So put your guess. How much did I buy? How many grams did I buy? And how many grams did I knit out? We'll see how you go. The first item that I finished was a pair of socks. These were another emergency gift knit. I think I did them in less than 2 weeks. They're an 8-ply sock, and they were for my cousin. He had his 50th birthday, and he is a massive Hawthorn Hawks supporter in the AFL, or the AFL, the AFL. So I made him a pair of ribbed socks. Very similar colour to this, I suppose, actually. I did want to do them in the yellow and the brown. However, finding the right brown for Hawthorn was really difficult. So I went, screw it, let's just do the gold colour and then they can be worn on game days, regular days, just at home. And that was fine. That took a perfect 100 grams. Boom, boom. Done. Delicious. 100 grams. The second item and the final item that I finished in July was some crochet. It is this hexagon cardigan. I don't know why everyone is doing crochet in super bulky stuff, because crochet in 4-ply is really lovely. It's really nice and it's sort of soft, and this will go probably to charity, I'd say. It's apparently a size for a 1-year-old. Is it? I don't know. The sleeves look really long for that, but it's the correct length according to the patterns. I like it a lot. So much so that I immediately started working on another one in a different colour from my stash. This was ultra deep stash Bendigo yarn. I'm happy to have made some stuff. There's still some of it left over. That's what is left over, this bit here. But I used 127 grams in this. I was sort of lightly planning another one of these with like the light purple and this dark purple, and then I have a light tan and a darker tan or something like that. Then I'll have to figure out how to change colours and make it look not horrible. They're very satisfying. You can kind of fold them up and they just... And that's all I finished in July. When I was in Bendigo for the Australian Sheep and Wool Show, I bought some yarn. I bought quite a bit of yarn. I just did a count and I bought 11 different types of yarns, different weights, mostly sock, some in 50 grams, some in 100 grams. But in total, I purchased in 1,250 grams. That's a lot. I knew it was going to be a lot. I knew I knew that July was going to be a blowout month. I was emotionally prepared and I am ready for this month. I knit out a total of 227 grams across the pair of socks and the hexicardi. So that means that I am net positive for the month of July of 1,023 grams, which is 20.46 balls. Then I felt really guilty about that, seeing that 20.46 in bright red font. If I'm honest, I turned it into bright red font. That's on me. I can't blame anybody else for that. When I did a tally for the whole year of purchased in grams and knit out grams, I think I've fully purchased in more grams this year than I've knit out. So even though I've had some banger months where I've, knit out like 9.1 balls or 22.52 balls, that's not been enough to offset the stuff that I've purchased. So that's less than ideal, but I do know that this year is basically data collection. I've also been keeping a tally of how much I spend on yarn, so I can have I've just got it by month, and then I have a final total for the year. I'm looking to have my eyes opened by this data collection and look at trends. This is the third month in a row now where I have been in the red where I've purchased in more grams. Now that I have all of this delicious yarn from the Australian Sheep and Wool Show, I'll just be able to knit a bunch of it. I have started a test knit project. Well, I signed up and I've been approved, and I obviously haven't started it because here is the yarn not wound and not a pair of socks. So at least some of it is allocated. I've got a big project here, boop, which I'm so close to finishing. I've got about 2 more rows left and then a bind off and then some sewing up to do. So that will definitely be finished in August, which I'm thrilled about. These need to be finished in August. So I've got at least 2 projects that have to be finished in August. Were you correct in your guess of 20.46 additional balls of yarn? If you were, I mean, good for you, knowing me. I'll have to be a bit more disciplined through the back end of this year. I suppose I better go back to knitting and crochet, get some more things finished, get them onto my tally board. Let me show you a quick little something, because I put all of this information into graph format as well. I've got some pretty good stats. So I've got the colour that I use the most, apparently. Oh, it's multicolour, that big chunk of grey up in that top pie chart. It's actually multicolour. The pie chart below is if I've previously used, stagnant stash, bought yarn for that project, but I used it many years later, or I bought it for that project and then I used it immediately. So the big chunk is previously used. And so far, the top bar chart is how many different items I make in that month. And so far, March, I made 13 items. What was I thinking? I haven't been able to keep up with that. Most of the time, it's like 2, 1 or 2. Anyway, hopefully by the end of the year, we'll go through that. The other stat that is interesting, I've completed 36 different items so far this year, and only 3 of them have been for myself. It was one of my goals to knit less for myself and more for others. But still just 3 things, and I think they've all been socks. Socks. Oh, and the speaker cover. The crochet speaker cover that I finished in, when was that? In February. So that's it. And I've got more socks that will be for me. That's it from me, I suppose. Let's see how we get on in the month of August. I feel good about August. I'm going to be really disciplined. I'm going to get a lot of stuff done. Maybe I'll do a bit more crochet because it really eats up yarn much more than knitting does. But yeah, tell me how you're going in the comments. Is your stash going well? And are you just knitting socks all year, which is my vibe? Anyway, have a great time knitting, and I also hope that your gauge is right straight off the bat. Have a good one. See you later. Thank you. See you next time.